we asked Mary Kay, we're going to go through that same list. Which of the veterans who are going to be free agents this summer do you think the Browns need to bring back, and which one should they let walk? I put these guys into two different lists, just randomly named 176. If you go right to 176, we'll go down the order in which they are listed, but Za'Darius Smith is up first. Za'Darius Smith, bring him back?
No.
Let him walk.
Let him go. Let him go. Had moments.
This is what I'll tell you.
Had moments, but they were too brief.
Whatever it costs, it's not worth it because Alex Wright played well.
Alex Wright developed.
And that's part of my answer.
And you got Ogbo. He played well, too.
Yes.
I don't need Za'Darius.
Smith is gone.
Kareem Hunt.
No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Nope.
Every team needs a battering ram. The 11 touchdowns, or how many touchdowns did he have in total counting the playoff game?
With the playoffs, 11.
And how many games did he play in?
All of them.
Did he miss?
No, he didn't play the
missed
first
two
two
because he didn't play the first.
15.
So he played 15 regular season games.
16.
I am keeping a guy that's averaging almost a touchdown a game.
It's a tricky spot.
me, I'm keeping
I think it's a tricky spot.
Nope. 1 yard. Nick Chubb can get 1 yard on the goal line.
If Nick
old
Chubb
Nick
is
Chubb,
back,
yes.
if Nick Chubb is back, in the end, I got to let Kareem Hunt go because I can only keep 3 backs. And I just can't afford to pay Kareem. He's going to want more money. Nobody's going to pay him any significant money. I don't know what he's going to get. I think Kareem Hunt could be on the scrap heap again. Nobody's making him a starter. He's not a starter in the league anymore. He's good at that role, but if I have Nick Chubb, I don't need him in that role. I'd let him go. If Nick Chubb's not coming back and I'm going with a younger back, then I'd bring him back.
I agree with
my 1B.
I just want him because he runs hard. He gets the difficult yards.
So does Nick.
Every team needs a guy like that.
So does Nick.
And the old Nick did. The big unknown is, what is Nick going to be?
You just sat here and said you trust him.
I do trust him.
All right,
but I also sat here and said his ceiling isn't going to be as high. So I don't know what he's going to look like in those situations. And because of that, I want to bring him back. Look, they made a mistake in letting him go the first time. They made it good because no one else picked him up. If you were to ask the Browns this year, were you happy with the production Kareem Hunt gave you for the price tag he had? I am telling you they're going to say they were.
How much was his contract?
Cheap.
And then they didn't make a mistake because they got him for no money.
Well,
basically.
no. What I'm saying is, when they let him go, it could have been a mistake if someone else grabbed him.
It could have been.
They made it good because no one did, and
Right.
it was only week 2, and they were able to get him back into the building.
I don't think this team's banging down his door again this year either, but we'll see.
I don't either, and
Yeah.
that is partly not because of him, it's because of the position.
Yeah, right.
Like, he has to come to the mindset, man, I'm just working for less money now
And
because
he's a
of my
limited
position.
player. He's
the way
good
it's
at that
valued.
one aspect.
Yeah.
And I think he's above average at that one
Definitely,
aspect.
I
which
agree
is
with
why
that.
I like him and I
Yes.
bring him back.
Next up, Corey Bojorquez, who had a
Yes.
pretty successful
Definitely.
season punting.
Yes.
Didn't punt
Yes.
well after the injury. Mary Kay pointed that out. Was not great in the playoff game.
No, he was
but
terrible.
He had moments this year where, to me, he looked like the best punter in the NFL.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's
and
good.
his one weakness, I think he worked at his directional kicking.
Got better at it.
And being able to backspin the ball.
And all that nonsense about him not being good at holding, that was proven untrue this year.
Pure fiction.
Yeah.
We're
We're all in agreement on Bojorquez.
Next up, Tyvis, safety, your position, Rodney McLeod.
I'm out.
No.
I'm out too. I was curious to see what you were going to say. I thought you'd say bring him back.
No.
I'm out on him. But although I think Hickman took a step back for me in the playoff game, my opinion of him came down a little bit, and part of the reason you can move on from McLeod was that I thought Hickman was a hit. They got him as a free agent, and I think because of that, they're going to keep him. And McLeod, I think, is expendable.
One bad game from an undrafted rookie, I'm
I'll
not going
accept
to hold
that.
it against him
Even
forever.
though
Him going down showed. What I did like about him in the room is that he brought that Super Bowl experience. He's a veteran. He do Jim Schwartz's defense.
Right.
He spent this year teaching that to the younger guys.
Yeah.
DeAnthony Bell is a good player, and Ronnie Hickman is a good player.
You know what I wanted to ask you, and we'll do it. I don't want to go too deep into it, but how much did it play into the fact that C.J. Stroud beat him the way he did? That he saw him in practice every day. He knows his tendencies.
So the funny part,
you've had that experience.
The funny part about that is C.J. Stroud actually saved him by overthrowing the ball.
I know he did. Another time.
I can't believe
because he beat him on that one.
And cover two.
easy.
Why?
I know. I
is
couldn't
he
believe it.
flat-footed in cover two.
And he overthrew him.
I said, you know what that CJ just he loved you because that was a touchdown.
It was funny. There were 3 players involved in that play. 2 were Buckeyes. 1 was a Michigan guy. The Michigan guy was the only one that did his job.
Yeah.
What about the linebackers? We got a twofer here: Takitaki and Anthony Walker.
Takitaki, yes. Anthony Walker, no.
I'm with you on that.
And I'm going to miss his leadership on defense.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Because me and AWOL go back to the Colts days. Hey, Walk, you gotta get healthy, man. Like
That's
that's the only reason, though.
been hurt so
like,
much. I don't.
When you're in there, you're good and you bring great leadership, but
He's
you
out.
know you can't make the club if you in the tub. Like that's just what it is.
Takitaki's better at that position anyway.
He's gotten better.
He's
I thought
gotten better.
This year he took a step forward. Not that JOK took a leap forward.
Yeah.
Takitaki to me took a
Let's
step
go with
forward.
Takitaki, JOK, and then bringing in a young guy.
I agree.
You know.
I agree.
We have 3 defensive tackles who are all set to become free agents. They were
Yep.
rotation pieces: Hurst, Shelby Harris, and Jordan Elliott.
Well, this ain't fair because me and Shelby go back to Denver days. So shout
Cut
out
the personal ties.
Shout out to Shelby.
Belichick cut a guy on Christmas.
He did.
I'd
do
cut
that.
everybody on that list except for
Elliott.
not cut. They're all free agents.
Elliott.
Except for Elliott. I'd
I'm
bring
with
him
you.
back. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I bring Elliott. We've agreed on everybody except for Hunt.
Hunt. Yeah.
Except Baker Mayfield.
I bring. Yeah, well, we have both decided that we'll never agree on that.
Yeah.
Elliott, I bring back the other 2. Bye-bye.
Tyvis, the same boat?
Well, I don't. Well, Mo Hurst was really good. See, Shelby brings in a thing with the PBUs that's nobody else does, and that's very valuable. However, is that something that I'm willing to pay for? Probably not.
No.
I would keep those 2 in my back pocket, and if something happens later on the season and they're still available, I would love to bring
Right.
them back.
If
That's
we're,
how I would
if
do
we're
it.
in
But if
training
you're
camp
yeah.
and those guys are still available and I want one more guy,
Yeah.
I'll sign him for league minimum or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
I think a
none of those are
I
priority.
don't think anybody's going to be beating the door down for either of those.
Mo Hurst, well,
Maybe Mo Hurst.
but
The
he's
problem
coming
is
off of
he's
an
always
injury.
hurt.
I
He's
know.
coming off that
I
injury.
know.
always
and
hurt
that's
that
a
guy,
big
yeah.
part
Can
of
I
it.
make a counterpoint real quick?
Sure.
So the Browns' rotation of defensive tackles this year was Dalvin Tomlinson, Elliott, Harris, and Hurst when he was healthy.
Right.
So 3 of the 4 on the block now. The one thing Harris has, which I think is what's the MasterCard slogan? Like something's priceless.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss time ever. Like he's
And
been
that
the
is-
most
that
durable
is-
defensive tackle.
That's a fair
ever.
point.
And
You
as
know
a-
what? You may be talking me into Shelby Harris.
As a
Between that
third DT
and Tyvis's point about the PBUs, I'm back in on Shelby Harris.
Let's go.
I'm in Shelby.
Let's go.
Quickest flip-flop I've ever
Flippy
seen
flop.
Bill do.
I'm in on Shelby.
But I just think
I
as a
am
third
more
defensive
in on
tackle,
Shelby.
4th defensive tackle, having a guy who you know is solid, not great, but solid,
Yeah.
and is always there, and a veteran
Good
who
point.
the teammates seem to like, I think I would take.
Oh, hell with it. I'm into.
And Jason,
God
flip,
dang.
flippity flop.
Let's go.
Flippity
And we-
flop.
And I think for me, I had considered the pass breakups, but for me,
Yeah.
the availability
That's
is
a
big.
big one.
I'll tell you, here's why I'm more willing to wash my hands with some of these guys who looked better this year. Everybody looked better this year in
It's
the
the
defense.
Jim Schwartz effect.
I
Yep.
trust Jim Schwartz.
We can get other veteran
Go
guys.
get another couple of dudes.
Right.
Go get another couple.
There'll be
guys.
other guys like that.
Yeah.
He still
And last
wanted
but not
Dominican
least, and we
suit?
kind of touched on Joe Flacco earlier, but Tyvis, coaching's not an option in this scenario.
Nope.
This is to be a backup quarterback or QB3, or if you
Yeah,
want to make him a starter.
I'm out.
Nope.
Flacco,
Even
yes
though
or no?
he's the best.
Nope.
It's crazy because he's the best choice. He's the best player that they could have as their quarterback too. But who knows if he even wants to play? Maybe this was it for him. Maybe he doesn't want to do it anymore.
I do have conversations with him, and if he's open to some of the things that I would need him to be open to, I bring him back. The one thing I will say, and I love Jason, everybody knows that. It's a loser's mentality to say, "Oh, I'm afraid to bring this guy back because he might upset some of our princesses."
well,
That's a loser's mentality.
I get what you're saying, and I have always felt that way. But the one fair part of it is,
He crashed and burned
if
right before our
no,
very eyes
not
in the
not
biggest
even
moment.
Not even that,
How do you
Tyvis.
look in the first half?
No.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so now you're in on Deshaun then.
Can we have Joe's first half and then Deshaun's
So you
second
in on
half?
Deshaun. That's what I need to know. Since,
Guys,
since
Jay,
we
here's
doing
the
that.
problem, ultimately, though.
I want Flacco back.
Here's the problem. It's not Deshaun won't like him or whatever. Ultimately, the problem is there are, and this can create, you say, well, don't be a loser about it. And I agree on
No,
some
I'm not
level.
saying, I'm not calling Jason a loser.
It divides
not
your,
him,
it will
not him,
divide your
not
locker
him.
I'm
room.
saying to me, a loser's mentality is, do we want to bring him back because it might upset some other players? He's not a disruptive force
Right.
in fact,
No.
we saw he was a unifier.
But-
guys rallied around him.
Right, but
Jay.
if they don't play well,
Okay.
if Watson doesn't play well,
Right.
and the locker room is divided on who should be the quarterback,
Right.
that could cause a problem.
That is the case in every one of the 32 NFL cities except for maybe 4 or 5 places. And here's the thing about that.
It's more than that. You're right. It's
Here's
in
the
some
thing about
places.
that.
You got not 4 or 5. It's more.
Would that happen in
There
Cincinnati?
were Cowboy fans screaming to get to bench Dak during the playoff game.
What about-
screaming to bench him?
What about
Dak is
Cincinnati?
a top 5 or 6 quarterback.
What about Cincinnati next year?
What about him?
They got Jake Browning and Joe Burrow. So
But
if Joe don't play well,
If
There's
Joe
not a
comes
single-
out and he's 1-4 and he's got 3 touchdowns and 9 picks,
What they gonna say?
There will be fans in Cincinnati saying,
Right.
"Let's see."
no,
Jake."
not fans.
Yeah,
It's not about
players.
fans. It's about
Players.
players.
There will be some players that are
No.
looking around going, "How long are we going to ride this?"
There's
ship?"
not a single player on the Bengals that would ever think you'd want to start Jake
And
Browning.
maybe you're right. Maybe
Yeah.
you're right. But here's the point I really need to make.
Yes.
The fact that you won't be here's what the Browns owe the fans.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be as good at every position as you possibly can. So tell me who's the better backup quarterback they're going to bring in here.
Between who?
Anybody? Give me a name.
Now-
Who's going to be a better backup here than Joe Flacco?
Jake Browning.
He's not a free
He's not
agent.
available.
Dang.
I know.
Jacoby Brissett.
And you know what? I wouldn't take either of those guys. I wouldn't. Here's the thing. He's going to give you those moments. I understand that. And we don't want to play this game because it might come true, but if you learn nothing else from this year, you better have a good plan B.
would. By the way, it's not an option, but if I were the Browns, I would take Browning over Flacco because
Well, of
because
course,
he's younger.
I would. Listen, I would
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Well,
I
odd.
thought you said you wouldn't take him.
No, first of all, I can't
that's
take
what
him.
Right.
But all things equal, I'd be dumb not to take Jake Browning. Jake Browning has looked at times as good, if not better, than Joe Flacco looked
And
at
he's
his
younger,
best.
and he's a lot
And
younger.
he's younger.
Yeah.
But by the way, the experience thing for me, I heard general managers saying that Joe Flacco still throws the prettiest ball in the NFL.
Yeah.
I got a backup that you would take.
Who?
Baker Mayfield.
Well, he's not going to be a
not
backup.
gonna be a
so
backup.
that's
Why not? He's a free agent this year.
Oh, so he's going to sign somewhere
He's
as a
gonna
backup
start
after
for
taking
someone.
a team to the Final 8?
Even I know he's going to
Maybe.
start for someone.
He's got to be a
Tyvis.
starter.
He's
Come on.
he's an option, is what I'm saying.
That was
Thank
mean,
you.
Tyvis. Why did you do that?
But here's the thing, Ty. I really think that what I'm trying to do as a team, I thought about this the other day. My 2 favorite teams in all the world are 0-116 in my lifetime on delivering the one thing that every fan wants most.
Championship.
0-16. The Guardians, Indians, and the Browns.
So you're not counting the Cavs?
So, no, because they're not they're
not at that
my
level?
third favorite team is Ohio State football, and then the Cavs. And
All right,
both
so you
of
got
them,
Ohio State.
Both of them have
Yep.
given me
Let's say Ohio
championships.
State has
But my
given
2
you-
favorite teams are 0-116. So here's what I'm demanding as a fan. You better get better. You have to do better. And not just for me. This city deserves better.
By the way,
This
what are
city
you counting
deserves
from?
better.
The year you were born?
Yes.
Or the year you could recognize
Yes,
what you were
but
watching?
I became a fan of baseball at 5 and of football at 6.
Okay.
So if you want to add that and take the 3 years out that the Browns
I'm
didn't
trying to
exist,
figure out my
they're
years.
0-100.
Because I'm one out of
Right, you saw
whatever.
one with the Bengals.
Yeah.
And
The
one with the
Cubs.
Cubs.
No Bengals.
You never saw Bengals.
Bengals never won
But
championships.
here's
Yeah.
my thing.
I've seen 2
As
championships.
fans, we
Yeah.
have to demand better from our owners.
That's right.
We have to demand better. And I am demanding better. And this would not be an acceptable move. You know, even though he galvanized the team, and even though he's the best available at that position, QB2, we're going to get rid of him because there might be some feathers ruffled. No.
It's a fair point.
No.
Let's leave it there, though, because we got to go.
Yeah, I don't know why we have to go, but I
This
guess
was
we
an
do.
extended.
I
edition.
was
Bull
the
has
one
to
who told
run.
Mike I had to
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah, Bull has to run. Appreciate y'all for sticking around.
See ya.
Back tomorrow.